Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So as usual, let's go over the market, see what happens today. You can see quite a bit of red in the market today. Pretty much everything on my list is red, you can see. Overall though, regardless, still a pretty choppy day. Hopefully you guys can hear that little wind breeze happening there, but a pretty choppy, slow day as usual. I mean, it's down, don't get me wrong, it was down 4%, but like again, the past few days, the move, like the main move always happens in the first like hour of the market, and then the rest of the, the rest of the time the market is open for the rest of the day up until, of course, when it closes at 4 p.m. it's just sideways action. Like every single day, just the first move happens, by 11 in this case, like 1 to 2 hours roughly, and then it's just essentially just sideways. Like it's just very slow, nothing really happens, just very choppy, like nothing too crazy, fairly low volume in all honesty. You can see here, not the greatest of volumes, very mediocre. So just a choppy, slow day, guys. But nonetheless, so essentially what happened was, so we actually opened up around 1,000, went up and everything. The reason this happened today is because, so I thought it will drop, and I did say yesterday how I do think we were going to drop out of this little channel, which we did. And I thought that we would hold at 1,000, which we didn't, and we actually fell under, pretty much went up to retest it right here, just barely, like 998, and then we fell back down, right? Now, the reason is, of course, Elon did the thing where he essentially proposed to buy all of Twitter. Now, the reason that relates to Tesla is because, well, Elon doesn't really have, even though he's like the richest person on planet Earth, or like sometimes the second richest, depending on, how the market goes between him and Bezos. It's more of, he doesn't really actually have that much liquid cash in terms of, he doesn't just have like $1 trillion in his bank account, for instance, you know what I mean? Like even $1 billion. Usually when he wants to have money, he takes a loan. I really hope you guys don't hear that. He takes a loan against his shares, and then that's essentially his money, or he, I guess, sells shares like he did earlier this year to pay for taxes, right? He doesn't actually have like literal cash just like lying around left and right, like relative to his net worth. Most of it's tied into stocks and Tesla, SpaceX, whatever. So a lot of people were worried that he's gonna have to sell more shares in Tesla in order to get some money in order to pay off this quote unquote acquisition, if you will, of Twitter. So Gary Black actually did, I want to show you guys quickly something here. So Gary Black did make a little bit of a post about this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh man, I really hope you guys don't hear that. That is actually very loud. Let's see, where is it? Stock drop Elon offers by Twitter. Here, so this one here I think is where he talks about it. So essentially he talks about, he doesn't believe Elon will be selling Tesla shares in order to do this, and then people also believe that Twitter won't even accept the buyout at, I think he did like 54.20 a share or something like that, which Twitter at the moment is at 45, so it's higher than it is currently. People don't even think that Twitter, the board and members and like the employees, etc., they don't even think they'll accept it. And that's kind of, so essentially that whole reason is why Tesla had this move downwards, because people were scared that he's going to have another big sale, and we already know what happened over here when he announced that he's going to sell Tesla stock. We of course fell down pretty aggressively. So that's essentially the reason behind that, the move down initially. And then we essentially just continue to trade within this channel. Ultimately, guys, like I said, I did mention how, even though if we move up, I still think there's a chance that we actually can make a move upwards, maybe fill a couple of gaps up here. Like I still think that's definitely within the realm of possibility. I would say as long as we don't break below this 973 and like 970 roughly, as long as that doesn't break, I still think it's in the cards to continue and have maybe like a run up into earnings, which is Wednesday, of course, next week. Maybe fill up some gaps like all the way up here like 1090, that'd be pretty nice. Maybe up here like 1060, one of these two at least. I definitely think that's in the cards as long as that level doesn't break that I just mentioned, 973 to 970. As long as that level holds, I think it's in the cards, and I think it's possible. But regardless, with that being said, even if we have a run up into earnings, ultimately, guys, again, I still stand by what I said. I'm still expecting a drop to the mid to low 900s at some point or another. I don't know if that's going to happen Monday, 2 weeks from now, even a month from now. But the point is that I'm fairly confident that that is going to happen at some point. Could honestly just go straight down to there next week. That is also possible. And then we can maybe get a nice bounce off of that. Could have a nice bounce up first and then come down. Again, regardless of the path that we take, I think ultimately, I'm currently personally, waiting to buy more shares essentially in the mid to low 900s. That's personally what I'm waiting for. And then while we're up in this range, I'm essentially kind of playing, trading, selling puts, calls, etc. That's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. So you can see, taking a look at the very quick in the daily, the RSI pointing back straight down, nothing too crazy. RSI or the MACD is kind of making, a lower low, not barely, but it's still a lower low, still looking fairly bearish on the 1 hour chart. You guys know, like the 1 hour chart, you can see the MACD is, even though we're still trading within this range, the MACD is, it's starting to make, it's not really making anything too crazy. I'm trying to find something, but it's really not. It's just kind of following the path at the moment of the stock price itself. That's not giving us any bearish or bullish divergence, which isn't a good thing or a bad thing. It just means that there's no like potential hidden move coming up or something like that. There's nothing very obvious to read from this. So on the 1 hour chart, we're kind of in the middle. We're not really bearish or bullish. It's just very mediocre. I think mainly because, again, this market this week was very slow. People are waiting for next week and earnings, and we have Tesla earnings, etc. So it's a very slow market. Tomorrow is of course off. There's no market tomorrow. It's not open. It's Good Friday. So I just don't think there's a lot of like action this week, mainly because of all these factors. So that's essentially what I'm seeing right now off of this RSI over here as well. Taking a quick look, let's say at the Bollinger Bands, you can see getting a little bit tight here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a tiny bit more consolidation. But I do expect a breakout into earnings, whether it's up or down. Hopefully up, of course, but nonetheless, guys, like I said earlier, ultimately, regardless of the direction we go in the short term, overall, I am personally still expecting a drop somewhere to the mid to low 900s, regardless of what happens next week, whether it's straight down there or we go up first. But again, if you want to kind of play it, and if you're trading it and you want to have like a key level to look at in terms of, where are we probably going to be moving then? Well, again, like I said, 973 to 970 is the level to watch on the downside. If that breaks, decent chance we're probably finally revisiting this mid to low 900s. And if we can finally break above this 1025 to 1030 range, then I think we can start looking to potentially play the gap fill all the way up here at 1057 roughly, and then this area would act the same way that this area acts. So you can see we filled this gap up here pretty much perfectly, and then we got rejected. If we run back up, see, the fact that we haven't fallen below this is a good sign. The fact that we're still holding around this area, I actually think is not a horrible sign. Again, that gives us the potential to still move up. So as long as 1025 to 1030 breaks, then we can play for the gap fill at 10 almost at 1060, 1057, and the same concept is going to apply here that applied here. We're probably going to be rejected, maybe fall down a bit, and as long as eventually we can break this level that we'll get rejected at, being 1057 to 1060, then we can start again playing for the next gap, which is going to be up here close to the 1090s. That's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. I would still personally say the 1090s is feeling like a little bit of a stretch. I don't personally think it'll happen, but it's still possible, of course. But that's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. Peace.